Hi guys, my name is Lucky Carl here, back with another video, and today we're going to be watching Australia's murderous family, the Milats. I don't know how to say it. It's by 60 minutes, so let's get straight into it. Foresty area.
Belanglo State Forest in the Southern Highlands.
I don't even know what this
murder
mystery is, or whatever this is. I have nothing. I don't know anything about this.
Where serial killer Ivan Milat
partially
buried
I know
Ivan.
Ivan.
Do you really want to see what I'm capable of?
And now it's the scene of another violent death. 17-year-old David Octoloni, another young man viciously slain.
Now you move, and I'll chop your head off.
Yeah.
He was on the happiest day of his life. Everyone was a friend. Everything was going well. He had nothing to fear.
This is the first time David's father, David Sr., has retraced his son's final journey into Belanglo to see where he died at the hands of another evil Milat.
I don't know where that is.
Matthew Milat
is that in Queensland?
Is the great nephew of Ivan.
I don't know.
And this is where it happened.
Yeah, right here.
Daylight in this dark place brings no comfort at all.
Oh, I feel bad for families like that.
When you look around, there's nothing here. No one would hear you scream.
No, it looks like a forest to me.
This is a horrible place.
What's with the dramatic music?
So
Calm
lonely
down.
and so cold. But when Ivan Milat was jailed for life for what he did here, it was hoped nothing like it would ever happen again. So who could guess that 14 years later there would be another brutal murder in this forest, and that once again the murderer would be a Milat?
This Milat, Matthew, was just shy of 18, and he took one of his closest mates, David Octoloni, to Belanglo and murdered him with an axe in November 2010.
Why?
How can you come back here?
You have to know. You have to feel what your son felt, and to think why and how. What led up to this? It just
Exactly. What happened?
It's horrible.
And there are no answers, really, are there? There are no justifiable answers.
No, not for a choice of murder.
Perhaps the most chilling answer lies in a misplaced infatuation Matthew has with his great-uncle Ivan. Matthew's surname is actually Muleman, but as a 14-year-old he changed it to Milat to proudly promote his family connection with the backpacker murderer.
Really?
What sort of impact do you think Ivan Milat had on Matthew Milat?
Most of us get our identity to some extent as children and adolescents by identifying with someone and trying to emulate them. I mean, this is, as it turned out, a tragic choice. He chose his most famous relative, but his most famous relative was a serial killer.
Forensic psychiatrist Professor Paul Mullen says this latest horror was calculated to shock, despite Matthew just being a toddler when Ivan Milat was convicted.
I mean, the name Milat, the fact that the murder is committed in Belanglo State Forest, I mean, this immediately makes one's flesh creep.
It's not good.
Bargo and Tarmor are the desolate tiny towns close to Belanglo where Matthew Milat and David Octoloni became friends.
I think it's either in New South Wales or Victoria.
But one could go from mate to murderer has stunned the kids of this community.
How many times have we sat at train stations like this just for hours, waiting for trains? And
they knew both well, and while they dearly miss David, affectionately known as Octo, they now say they never trusted the young Matthew Milat.
You guys must have liked Matt to hang out with him? You didn't like him, right?
I never liked him or trusted him.
Why is that?
Just the way he used to hang around us, like, sometimes he used to sit there with a flick knife, just flicking his knife. Not
just
saying a
like...
word. It was just weird, like.
What did he
Or
tell you
something.
about
I
being a
don't know.
Milat?
We'd heard about his uncle, we'd heard his surname that many times, like he did brag about it, true.
Yeah, hard.
Like he looked up to his uncle and he'd made that clear.
Stop playing the dramatic music, I swear to God.
Matthew Milat was about to make it very clear just how much he wanted to be like his Uncle Ivan.
Why?
Nothing was going to stop it. His pleas, his cries. I think of them the most.
Back in Belanglo, David is reliving his son's final moments, recalling the horror of a planned and brutal murder.
Well, obviously he was unaware, he was blindsided.
It was David's 17th birthday,
Happy f***ing birthday, Octo.
So this is a reenactment, I'm assuming.
and there were two others also in the car that night, Cohen Klein and Chase Day. All off to Belanglo to smoke drugs and help David celebrate. But it was a pretext, a murder plot devised by Milat and Klein. Half an hour later, David would be dead.
Why were they driving in the forest, though?
And he truly was a kid. He just never got to grow up.
Hey, Octo. Can you roll us a joint, mate?
Sadly, David knows the gruesome details of his son's murder because, incredibly, Klein and Milat chose to record it all on a mobile phone.
Don't you know how to roll a joint, birthday boy?
Oh my
Evidence
God.
that would eventually help convict them.
Why? Well, that's used as evidence,
Heads to
but...
the boot, plays with his axe and psychs himself up. While Klein keeps the other two in the car until Milat gives the signal.
Oh yeah, Octo, you're shit at rolling joints, mate. Can you just grab the bong from the boot?
No, you get it.
Mate, I'm too cold. Just do it.
But before David can get to the boot, he's ambushed by the axe-wielding Milat.
He was struck.
That was really impressive
with
reenactment.
that medieval axe. You hear the thud of that I'll remember forever.
Because of that harrowing phone recording, we know this was the first blow of the vicious attack that would go on for another 10 minutes.
You're dead meat, Octo.
Matt, please, man. Please, man.
To hear it live and hear his pain, his anguish, his panic, his fear.
That would be so really traumatizing for the
As
parents.
a dad, it's horrible because you
to
want
hear all
to just
that.
reach through and grab him and pick him up and take him home, but you can't. It's got to play out and you've got to listen to it.
He looks really
That's
depressed.
the most, being helpless.
Don't
Yes.
move. You move and I'll kill you.
Why Milat so savagely attacked David, we'll never really know.
Going around telling people my business, you end up getting hurt.
He claimed David somehow wronged him, but Professor Mullen says Milat just wanted to kill.
Or you cop an axe.
I mean, why choose this young man? The performance was the performance of a killing. The victim seemed to be almost an irrelevance who he was.
Look, man, I give my word, okay, I wouldn't.
Yeah, well, your word is fucking shit.
And watching his performance from the car was Klein, urging him on, and Chase Day, who at least once pleaded for Klein to make Milat stop.
Mate, don't even do that. That's Octo.
But chillingly, cold-heartedly, the taunting and the toying continued, with David begging for his life.
Man, I give my word, okay, I wouldn't.
Octo, I've had your word before and it ain't worth a pinch of cold shit.
Until the very end.
Trump.
The most horrible sound is the final blow, to hear a life extinguished. And David's groan. It's a horrible sound.
Absolutely is.
It really is.
Does the brutality of that murder shock you?
It was brutal to me.
All murders are brutal. What shocks me is the whole thing was, I think, scripted in advance in his fantasies. And that is frightening to contemplate. You know, I think it's about having the audience proving you did it. I am the stone cold killer. Look at me.
I'm not touching it.
Get out of the car and help me get him in the bush.
After they dumped David's body, it's believed Milat, Klein and Chase Day then went somewhere else in the forest to smoke dope before heading home. Some 21 hours after the gruesome murder, Chase, who's always maintained he was an unwitting, innocent bystander, went with his father to police to tell them what happened. He then brought them back here to show them David's body.
Oh my God.
I guess we have to accept that our loved ones die, but we hope they do so without pain and without fear and with dignity. But your son was denied all of that.
He was. And we never got to tell him how much we loved him. And even in the morgue, I wanted to kiss him.
On Friday, Matthew Milat was sentenced to a maximum 43 years in jail.
Good.
Cohen Klein, 32 years for his part in this awful thrill killing. And it was recognised that Chase Day, who was never on trial, had tried to stop the murder.
In sentencing him, the judge said Milat is still a serious potential danger to the community. Rather than showing remorse, he appears to revel in the memory of the murder. Even as he awaited trial, he wrote poems boasting he was a cold-blooded killer. One gem goes,
Why?
click, clack, hear that? Stopping in the middle of the track. Are you getting nervous in the back? Should be. You're getting whacked. You may well ask, is 43 years long enough for someone like
probably
Matthew
not.
Milat?
No.
There's no doubt that this
Life
young man was
sentence, I reckon.
trying to present himself as a dangerous killer. And he continues to do it. The poems that were written in prison after these events, it shows a desperate need to make oneself appear powerful and significant, when in fact, you're neither.
Well, that's just going to do it for me. Yeah, I don't know why people do such things. Like, to me it makes no sense. Like, why would you kill someone just for that reason? Like, I don't know, it's devastating to hear. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.